Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino. Friday, we finally made it. November 15th, 2024. This is my pre-market report. People, look, I want to cover something that is, no one ever hears about this except if you follow this blog. And this is a major issue. Now, yesterday, during my post-market wrap-up, I put together what I feel is a pretty good case for why the Federal Reserve may not be able to cut rates as aggressively as they have laid out their case for. And this is a double-edged sword, and I get that. I read through the comments yesterday. We all know that this freak show market, which we don't have a market anymore, is 100% dependent on easy money. Now, what does that mean? If the Federal Reserve here, let's say, does not cut rates next month or isn't as aggressive because of the dynamics in play, and I'll cover that again. I went over it yesterday at length. I will summarize why I believe the Fed may not be able to cut rates, bring them down, and also fulfill the promise of President-elect Donald Trump to bring you lower rates. Obviously, these two things are not what we need. We need higher rates. We need a stronger currency. These are freaking no-brainers, people. The double-edged sword is this. If the Federal Reserve and Donald Trump is not able to dramatically lower rates here, that means the stock market is not going to perform as well as people that are in this market would like it to, and that's me too. I'm in this market, but look, man, it's not just about the market. It's about the people. The people are being destroyed. They're being wiped out by this mechanism. You understand that? Now, just to summarize real quick, what did we just find out? Inflation is sticking around despite all the promises to the contrary, which you and I knew was nonsense since day one. So inflation continues to rise. Let's zero in on that real quick. That means the Fed is going to have a real hard time justifying cutting rates. You understand? The mechanism here can't be stopped, obviously, by pumping more cash into the system. We need to contract the global money supply. Hold that thought, because I have a chart for you that's going to blow your mind in a moment. Not going to happen. I've been telling you this for the longest time. If the Fed and central banks around the world really wanted to stop inflation, they could do it like this. But they won't. They would have to do two things. Number one, contract the global money supply. This is economics 101, people. You have all these extra bills that were pulled into existence on a scale we've never seen before. Think about what I'm going to say. Under Obama, under Trump, last term, Bidenstein creature. These three freaking creatures have done all they can to work with the Fed. Again, a president doesn't have a printing press. A president does not have the ability to devalue the currency or cause inflation. So all the talk that came out of Trump's mouth and out of Harris's mouth about blaming each other for inflation, all that was a mechanism to keep your eyes off the balls. A complete bold-faced lie. It's the Federal Reserve who's responsible for monetary policy and therefore inflation. So when Trump was telling you it was Biden's fault, realize that you were being lied to by a master of deception. When Harris was saying, well, Trump was the guy who pulled more cash into existence than every other president in history, again, that was another lie to keep your eye off the ball. You were lied to, it's politics, and you all know that, at least I hope you do. If you fell for that, unfortunately, you were duped. Not the fault of presidents. It's the Federal Reserve who must remain blameless, look like they're on the side of angels here. Okay, so how could they have and could still stop inflation? Contract the money supply, dramatically raise rates. Of course, that would mean more purchasing power for the currency. Can't happen. Central banks are in a race to the bottom to see who can destroy their currency first. Oh yes, we've seen the phenomenon of the US dollar get stronger on a relative strength basis. It means nothing. It means nothing. It means comparatively the dollar is the prettiest belle of the ball, but still losing purchasing power. How do we know that? Inflation continues to rise. Duh. People, come on, man. Anyway, so the Fed, as I said, is going to have a real hard time cutting rates to justify it, I mean, being that inflation continues to rise. Now, Trump's tariffs are going to cause prices to rise. I know you've been told the opposite, but look, don't take my word for nothing. Please, please, please fact check me. Fact check me. We were told the same thing during Trump's last tenure. We were told that we were going to the tariffs were going to pay off the debt in 2 years. That didn't happen. Instead, we got $8.6 trillion more debt. We were told that tariffs were going to basically cure everything. It didn't work. You understand? So the trade deficit with tariffs, what happened to the trade deficit? We were told again it was going to shrink. Didn't happen. It ballooned. We're going to see that moving forward again. People, mark my words on this. I know you guys and girls who think that Trump has all the answers. He doesn't. It was a deception yet again. And that's all this is a game of deception. It's a war. All warfare is based on deception, and you're the ones who are being deceived. So that means we have to take care of each other. You understand? Pretty easy. So tariffs are going to play a role here, and that's going to also cuff the Fed and cuff Trump's plan to lower rates. 10-year yield. 10-year yield. Let's focus on this. I've been talking about this forever. Well, forever. Last few days. That's the 10-year yield this morning. That's the federal funds rate. If we get par, and we're pretty close to it, market ain't going to like that. So again, this also presents a problem for the Federal Reserve with regard to cutting rates. If they cut rates, the federal funds rate will drop. It'll make it easier for this to become par. Now, yes, I read through the comments. Many of you wrote to me and said, well, Greg, the fact of the matter is we know the Fed wants to inflate. And you're right. Yes, the Fed can get in here and start buying more debt. Is that a possibility? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I am not discounting that. It's very possible that the Fed is going to get in here, start buying more debt, keep rates suppressed further. Then they could, of course, lower rates at the same time, fulfill Trump's plan to bring you lower rates, which is the same plan as the Fed, working with the Federal Reserve. You understand here? So that makes him the enemy, in my view. When you have a puppet working with the Fed to fulfill their goal, I know there's a lot of talk to the contrary, actions are louder than words. Pretty easy to understand here. So that, yes, that is a concern, and believe me, I am watching that. Now, there's another thing here. The market doesn't like this. You and I have been following the MMRI. It's my number one go-to tool to basically pay attention to what's going on here in the debt market. Currency devaluation, 10-year yield, they're both elements here that are factored in. Okay. Market doesn't seem to be liking where we are now. It's getting a little top-heavy. Now, with regard to the dollar, I covered this yesterday on a relative strength basis. Getting a little top-heavy there, too. So my currency traders, I think you're on board with me. I did read through some of the comments. Currency traders, most of you, are the ones I read the comments, agreed with me. I think we could see some profit taking here, and that would obviously be beneficial here. Anyway, so that's kind of where we're at with that whole kind of a situation here. Let us move forward. I want to show you a chart. All right. Macro and micros. I'm going to credit them with, this is the chart. Can you see this slope here? This is the global money supply. What it's not money, but you know what I'm talking about. This is what central banks are doing. Ballooning, hyper-ballooning the world money supply. Now, what does that mean? What does it mean when you have a situation like this? Again, it's a vicious cycle. When central banks are killing the purchasing power of their currency, now it gives them an excuse to add to the money supply. They have to, because it's going to take more weaker currency to buy anything, even shares of stock. So going back to what we said earlier, if the Fed can't continue to pump easy money into the market, it will present a problem. for those of us that are long the market, long the stock market. But what else do you need to do? People, you need cryptocurrency in your portfolio. This is Bitcoin. We got a little drop from the high of 93,000. But believe me, cryptocurrencies are going higher as Trump fulfills his goal to make the United States the crypto capital of the world. Everything is put in motion here. Okay, the man has created his own business to streamline cryptocurrency trading and borrowing. That's his business right now. That's what he's created. He's created his own token. The man is going to make sure, again, talking about adding cryptocurrencies to the strategic reserves, not gold. Why not gold? Because it would stand as a roadblock to the Federal Reserve. No roadblocks will be created. Again, actions speak louder than words. Forget about what comes out of their mouth. Last time, remember, I'm just going to remind you one more time. What was coming out of his mouth? Tariffs were going to pay off the debt in 2 years. Didn't happen. We ballooned the debt. Tariffs were going to shrink the trade deficit. Trade deficit skyrocketed. Fact check me. See if I'm telling the truth. So whatever comes out of the mouth of Trump or any politician, realize when the mouth moves, it's a lie. When they breathe, it's a lie. You understand? You got to look at the actions of what's happening, not the words coming out of a puppet's mouth. Are we on the same page here? I hope so. Anyway, this mechanism of central banks, and I mean, can you see that? This is going to continue. And that means inflation is going to continue as well. And you're going to hear, oh, inflation is maybe getting better. It's a lie. Go, you shop. You know what's going on here. The Federal Reserve and central banks here are really people. How do I say this to you another way? They're on a mission here to destroy the purchasing power of the currency, to destroy the current system, which they are taking apart piece by piece, only to issue in a new system. We're now in a bridge here. And that's why Trump, a real reason why Trump was selected here was maybe not to actually bring about the new system. It's going to take time, but to build a bridge to the new tokenized system. And that means deregulating the banks, which we know is going to happen, deregulating crypto, merging these two things, merging the banks with cryptocurrency to mainstream and streamline cryptocurrency. This is a bridge into a new system. Do you see what I'm talking about? May not be Trump. He's got only 4 years here. Unless, of course, he did say we would never have to vote again if he were selected. I don't know what that means, okay? Maybe he's going to declare himself God. I have no idea. You let me know on that one. But anyway, look, the mechanism behind this, very, very simple. Bridge system, bridge right now into the new system. It's in your face. Banks are the enemy. I get that, but they're being made monumentally stronger. If you can't see opportunity here, I am sorry. But people, look, you still know what I'm going to tell you right here. This is where you need to be. You need to be in commodities. Period. The freaking end. They're not done. The mechanism of ballooning the global money supply. Major central banks M2 money supply. Will you look at this? You think that's going to stop? Really? No. It's not. You're going to have puppets working with their central banks to allow the mechanism to happen. Have you heard? Did you hear during the campaign trail Kamala or Trump talk about the money supply, how it's being ballooned, and how central banks have us by the throat and by the gonads via this mechanism? No, you didn't hear that again because you can't know that. You can't be allowed to know that because if people were allowed to actually understand what was going on, they would take action. They wouldn't sit back and feel like, I don't know what they feel like, okay? The zombies that they have been dumbed down to probably won't understand this anyway. And I would believe that during the campaign trail, if either candidate would have brought up some of the stuff, they would have got cheers for it because the people have been fully 100% zombified. The zombie apocalypse is real. Pay attention to the dynamics in play here, people, and we will win. We will continue to win. Lose sight of these things and understand you're gonna lose. And I refuse to let you lose under my watch. I'm not losing. There's no way I'm losing. You know that. That means you're not going to lose. By making yourself aware of the situation here, something you will never hear Trump or anyone else talk about. The federal funds rate making par with or possibly making par with the 10-year yield. Trump understands this. He went to Wharton Business School. He won't tell you about it. Again, you must be kept in the dark. He's got to tell you something else. He's got to make you look here. That's what politicians do. Look there. Don't look over here. I'm going to portray myself as whatever I want. Whatever they say, remember, when the mouth moves, it's a lie. If they're breathing, it's a lie. Look at the actions, not the words. You understand? It's a game of deception, war, and the war is against you, like I've been telling you forever here, okay? We are the target. Unfortunately, the 1% and 2%ers, they run it all. You and me, we're more than just a means to an end. We are more than just a way to grease the wheels of this perverted, twisted, upside-down mechanism here. You understand? And we have to be more aggressive. And we must raise our awareness higher as to what's going on here. Central banks remain the enemy. When you have a puppet promising you the same thing that the Fed is trying to do, lower rates, currency devaluation, that's exactly what Trump has promised you. Again, I promise you lower rates. You know who they're working with. Federal Reserve, Donald Trump, not you. Okay? Once you get up to speed on this, you'll finally realize, hey, and you have to accept the fact that you were lied to and duped. Just like last time. Fact check me. Fact check the things I said. I challenge you. Fact check me. All right, with that said, I love all of you from the heart. I mean that with all I got. We got this. Let them play their games. We will continue to play our games. Why? Because we're smarter than they are. I'm sorry to say that. I know a lot of people just, I don't know, maybe you don't think that's true, but we are. We're smarter than they are because we got their playbook. We have their playbook. We know what they want. We know what their goals are. And they're going to work very diligently to make these goals real, to become the lenders and buyers of last resort. I'm talking about central banks here. The market is a symptom of a very sick system. Higher, 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 higher on the back of an economy. Lower, 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 lower. But you know why now? The more debt, and currency is a unit of debt, that is pumped into the system. You see this? The higher the markets are going. Do you see the correlation here? I hope you do. Until it's not. But the key here again is the debt market. You all know, I've been telling people this since my Greg Hunter days. You know, I hope Greg Hunter's doing okay. I know he had a heart attack or something like that. I still miss the guy. He's whatever his issues are. I don't know. I've reached out to that guy so many times. I don't know, dozens. Even apologized for things I have no idea what I've ever done. But whatever, that's okay. Greg can stay in his little box. And you and I, we're going to do our thing. I love all of you. I will see you later. I promise you. 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern for the live stream. We got this. We can't be beaten. Until we see each other, take care of yourselves and each other, of course. Bye.